automations. And in our last video, we were discussing about how do we create our free domain and how do you create a free certificate and use the certificate to host your web server. Continuing to that, we're going to talk about Sonatype Nexus using it for Docker Registry. So for hosting the private Docker registries, we want to use Sonatype Nexus. And for that, we are going to use nginx proxy, and we want to proxy our Nexus server, and we want to hit our Docker command to authenticate into Sonatype Nexus by creating a repository inside Sonatype Nexus. And we would like to just create a registry, and with Docker command, we just want to use that. Right. So as we know that Sonatype Nexus allows you to create repositories, and Docker is one of the one, and we're just going to use that particular one. So why we are going to why I'm actually attaching this video with the previous video is because Docker works only on secure layer. So if you want to push an image or pull an image, the remote end registry has to be a secure one. So that's where I just want to use my web server as a proxy, and I want to hit my Nexus in the backend. So let's go and talk about how do we do that. So here I already created a Linux box, and it's a simple CentOS 7 operating system. It's a CentOS 7 operating system, which is the latest version. And over here, I just want to install nginx. So here, EPL repositories is already enabled, and that's where I can just go and give nginx, and I would be able to install nginx. So probably nginx doesn't come directly from CentOS repos, as far I believe. So that's where I already enabled EPL repository, and probably from EPL, it might pull you. Yeah, as you see, it is actually pulling from EPL. So you need to enable EPL repositories to make it happen. Now let me go and start the service. Start nginx, and your nginx service is started. Now let's start -lntp. You're going to have this, right? Now in our last session, we have seen how do we create our own certificate. I just want to use the same way, but now there is another way of doing it as well. So previously, I have taken the um, some key whichever is provided by SL for free.com, and I copied into my web server manually. Rather than that, we can also use DNS directly. And now I am going to talk about DNS. So first thing I want to do is I just want to go for adding a DNS entry for this particular server. So I'm going to take the public IP address of this submachine. This is the public IP address. I'm going to add a new record set, and it's going to be, let's say, Nexus I can make, or if you want to make it as Docker, you can just make it. So domain name is your choice. Just made it. And this is the same domain I used to create in my last video. And coming it over here, so the website now is going to be nexus.linuxauto.ga. It is showing three options. Last video I have shown the middle option. Now whereas I want to go for the third option and do that now, so that I don't need to log into web server and do that. So it's simply on the DNS layer I can take care. So verify my domain, and here it is asking you to add this entry. Okay, so I'm going to add an entry, but this has to be a txt record. All right, so I can just go here, create a record set, and it has to be txt, and this is what they're asking. You can remove the domain because the domain is already there. All right, and they're giving some value, so let's take that particular value. And so this is only for verification purpose. You don't need to really do that. So this is only just for the verification, and what they're telling is also put the TTL as 1. Okay, so the TTL I haven't kept to 1, and I just want to use 1. So save record set. And and we just need to wait for the DNS sync up. Otherwise, it is okay to test out our web page. It might not work because yeah, it's working. Great. It's already showing that that is I got that particular DNS entry. So now I can just go and download the certificate. And the certificate download is same. You have CRT and CA bundle file, keeping in one file, and private key on one file. And in order to set up our HTTPS configuration. So what I have done is I have already created a template for nginx configuration. So I'm just going to change the values and it's going to work accordingly. So I'll add this particular link even to the description as well. You can go through that. And also I require a Nexus installation as well. And I'll add that particular link also to the description. I think both are available in the Nexus folder. Yeah, so there is an Nginx default configuration file, and I just talking about this. So here is a configuration file. Now I just want to go on cd/etc nginx. So just for temporary purpose, I want to copy my nginx.conf file. I'm taking a backup to some location, and I'm emptying the nginx configuration file, and I'm opening the nginx configuration file and adding the content. Oh, sorry. And so call hyphen yes, this one, redirect the output to, so vi nginx.conf file, and here is what we have. And so what all I need to change here is the server name. So probably we can just go and give, we just want to host the Nexus also on the same machine. So I would give localhost or any IP address where your Nexus is running. And Nexus registry also I'm going to listen on 5000 port. So that's where I'm just going to give localhost as well. And this is what it is. And here is the DNS record which you need to maintain. And here it is. Ours is nexus dot linux auto.ga is the domain. And after that, so we are having certificate. It's going to, I just kept it as root, but we don't keep it on the root. It's a root home directory. So etc nginx and server.crt and /etc/nginx. So server.key. And the rest of the things are SSL related configuration. And after that, we're going to have, yeah. So here is the very important configuration over here. Now what actually trying to do is on the location slash where I want to proxy pass, I want to proxy pass to this. All right. So at HTTP Nexus, in the Nexus, it is given as the upstream as localhost 8081. The default Nexus port is 8081. It is going to route the traffic to 8081. But there is a condition actually I'm making. If the HTTP, if the user agent, whatever the communication is making to this particular one, so if it is Docker, then move it onto the registry. So the request goes, which are coming from Docker CLI, will go to registry. Okay, this is a simple tricky part just been added. So just to make it work, and I'm going to just use it. All right. So my configuration file, everything is fine. So other than that, so creating a certificate file. So it's a CRT file. I'm going to have this, this bundle, and in the same way, server dot key file is there, and just take this. Done. So probably you can just also give 600 permissions for the best practice. So because those are private files. Done. Now systemctl restart nginx. Your nginx is fine. Netstat -lntp, and you can see that it is listening on 443 port. Now I need to install Nexus inside this particular server. For having that Nexus, again I have the same link having the Nexus installation. I would like to go and install Nexus. It's a simple shell script, just goes and installs, downloads and installs Nexus. So let it install Nexus. So it started the Nexus service. You can also check the port numbers. Those will not come immediately because Nexus will take some time. and you can just go to Nexus. So ls cd sonotype work and ls cd Nexus. So it is just provisioning because this is the first time it is provisioning all the required databases and all in the backend. Now finally we got a message that it started Sonotype Nexus. So now let me go and give netstat -lntp. So to get the open ports on the server, so you can see that 8081 is fine. Now if I hit this particular server over the browser on HTTPS traffic, then I will get https:// and even you can put the redirector rules, like any traffic reaching to HTTP you can redirect automatically to HTTPS as well. .ga. It's just going to pull the Nexus repository um, in the it's just going to pull the Nexus repository in the backend. Just proxying, web server is proxying. Rather than that, you can also put your certificate directly into the Nexus, but that's gonna be a little bit more configuration and more burden. So that's where I choose a web server in front end, using a proxy of um, um, Nexus in the backend. All right. So here I just want to sign in. The default username is admin, and the password is going to be. So cat this file, and you will have this content. So just bring that and paste it. It asks you to reset the password. Okay, I'll just go and give admin123, admin123. So just next. If you want to allow anonymous access, done, finish. Now I want to create a repository. So I just want to go for repository, and I want to create a repository. So now the type has to be Docker hosted, and so here it's going to be. So I'll just go Docker Registry. The name could be anything of your choice. Now I want to enable 5000 port. Okay, so for Docker, this repository we are using 5000 port. Any request coming to 5000 port of this Nexus repository, so we'll run command store here. Okay, so automatically on the server side it opens a new port as well, netstat -lntp. You will see 5000 new port. All right, so that's good. And so once after this is done, so what you need to do is you just need to take a Linux box where you have Docker installed and just authenticate into that. So if you don't want to use admin user, we can just go and create a user as well. Or before to that, I want to create a role. So a role is going to be Docker role, and just give Docker -role. And so here I just want to give Docker. So here all the things which are related to Docker I'm going to add to this. So all these particular privileges are created automatically by Nexus. I'm just adding what all the privileges I want to add. I'm just adding add, or in case if you just want to give only read access, you can give only read access kind of thing, or browse access, edit access, delete access. You can do that. Okay, so just click on create a role. I'm going to create a user now and create a local user. It's going to be Docker, and it's going to be Docker, then user Docker, the rate no.com, something like that. So, or we have a domain, right? So it's going to be linux auto.ga, and the password is going to be docker123, docker123, and select the status has to be active. Now we have created a role, and this is the role. Just create that user. So this user has a complete access only on that particular repository. Now let's sign out, and I just want to check it out whether this is working or not. So docker123, and so you have requested an operation to validate the credentials. Docker123. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So it's went to administrator access. That's fine. So just click on browse. Now you see only Docker registry here because you have given exclusive access only to that. You can try that as well. So now I want to install Docker, or I just want to bring out another machine where I have Docker, and I just want to, so try it out from that particular machine, whether I'm able to push the images or not. Okay, let me go and bring one Docker machine. I got a new machine, so which is a Docker installed, and I can just go and verify that by using Docker PS command. I'm able to execute it, and I just want to authenticate into that particular Nexus repository using this command line. So Docker login, and I just want to give Nexus. You have to give the host name. By default, it takes you to Docker login, will take you to hub.docker.com, but I just want to use here a separate repository. So that's where Docker login and Linux auto dot .ga is the repository, and the -u username is Docker, and -p it's Docker 123. So you just can see that the login is succeeded. Okay, and it is wonderful. Now I just want to make an image, and I want to push it out there, and I just also verify from the Nexus whether I'm able to push the image. So far, if I just go into the registry, it is just not having anything, right? Now I just want to make Docker uh, pull CentOS. I just want to pull CentOS image. And then Docker tag, and I just want to put my CentOS image as it's going to be nexus.linuxauto.ga, and then slash CentOS colon whatever the tag you want to give. By default, it is the latest tag, and I would just want to push it. And now I just want to take this and give Docker space push. You do that, and it is trying to push. And once after the push is successful, we can go to the Nexus and verify whether it is actually done or not. So you can see here it is pushed. Now let's go and verify here whether we got the image. So try to refresh. You are able to see the image name, and also you can look for the tag. So there is a latest tag image which is available. So now you can pull it from here wherever you want to pull with the valid credentials, and this works as expected. Okay, I think hope that's the end of the video. So thank you for watching my video. So please subscribe to the channel, and as well as share and like the video. Thank you, and hope we'll see you again soon.